Hi, welcome to the Black Experience Japan's Melanated Files. The purpose of this series is to highlight the black people living in Japan. Who are they?
Robert Wright. I'm originally from Jamaica. I grew up in Mississauga, Ontario. A little bit of Montreal as well, so Canada. It was like around 2005. It was a very good time to teach English, so I wanted to travel, get some worldly experience. So on and off, I've been here since 2005, but I went to some other countries like Thailand, went to London for a bit, and went back to Toronto for a bit. I've dabbled in a lot of different things, but currently I'm consulting and partner with 1000 Springs. We have a restaurant, bar, lounge here, and basically we also import South Australian wine. So we cater to the international crowd, business people, Japanese businessmen who travel, who want to speak English. We do conversation and different parties and so on, like all kinds of parties. Reggae event. This Friday is a reggae event. Jamaica Gold is kind of an event. I kind of took the idea from one of my friends out in LA who started Jamaica Gold. His name is Q-Boy, and I thought Japan would be nice to start something like Jamaica Gold. Everything about Jamaican culture here is like kind of golden, so just decided to go with the name Jamaica Gold. But it does have a history. It's very famous in LA from Q-Boy and his partner. Like being here a long time ago, for the last 10 plus years. I've learned a lot, but a part of me coming here is basically for the experience. But I realized, for example, in Japanese, they don't really know about black culture. So at that time I was teaching, and it was very good to kind of teach them about black culture a little bit, the little that you can. But I've managed to kind of build a lot of really amazing relationships, friendships. I think with that, when I leave here, I'll continue those relationships. I don't see myself being here for the next 20 years. Yeah, I could say after the Olympics, I'd say within 10 years. So I started as an English teacher, and then I worked for a magazine called Tokyo Wine and Dining. I've done some event promotions and so on. So I've done a variety of different things. The experience as a foreigner, if you have a good idea, if you have a drive and self-motivation, that you create your own niche here in Japan, and you can find a level of success in whatever you want to do. So I think Japan kind of it opens up a lot of doors for the person with a drive and believe in themselves and in others. I think one of the best advice that I received, this is a pretty interesting story. When I just came here, I met a bunch of different people. We shared the same birthday, or 1 or 2 days apart, all different people. So, I kind of leveraged with them. And then my first party in Japan was over 200 people. So that was because I kind of got all the people who I'd met, and I got them all together for a birthday party. So it wasn't just my birthday party. And the owner of that club at that time, he was a businessman who taught me a lot. His name's Lexi. He was telling me sometimes when you go to a club or you're drinking and you communicate with people, you tend to forget, even if you get a business card. So he's like, when you're serious about the communication, to wanting to continue that communication, for example, you write a date or a time, or you write something on the card given to you to remember that conversation. And leveraging, I think, is the most important thing on the whole that he taught me. That leveraging is so important. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and associating with people who can help your goals, and as perhaps as well as you can help theirs. So I think leveraging is probably one of the best advice given to me by a businessman in Japan. I don't know, I'm an optimistic person. I can't really think about a worse advice that people have given. I think a lot of people try to advise in a good way, but there are two types of people in terms of someone who understands risk taking, someone who's a go-getter, a leader versus a follower, and so on. I think a lot of times, like for example, when you come up with a good idea, you tell your good friend, oh, I want to do this. A lot of times the first response kind of tells you what type of person that your friend is. So it's not really worse advice, but I don't really like pessimistic advice, or like a pessimistic outlook. You know, because regardless, there's always a good and bad. There's always two sides to every story, for example. But you know, when you're focused, especially in business, when you have a plan, in terms of, you know, even the, you know, competitive analysis, you shouldn't focus so much on that. If you focus on exactly what you want to do, I think that gives you more strength. So with that said, I've gotten a lot of pessimistic ideas, or you know, after, or perhaps after you finish a project, then people want to put their input. Prior to doing the project, then there's so much pessimistic views. But when it's completed, the project's completed, that's when they put their 2 cents in. And it's like, I don't even want to listen to you anymore. I mean, and people, I think naturally people tend to do that because one, innately, or well, not innately, but maybe within, sometimes people don't have enough belief in themselves, so they cannot believe so much in others. So maybe, you know, sometimes people are shocked. Sometimes their friends just do something that outrageous or something amazing. They're like, wow. But then that's the time when they want to give their ideas. But they should actually try to give it before. World peace. I think world peace is very important. I mean, right now we're in Japan, and you know, we have, you know, North Korea like making threats, and we have Trump, you know, like making threats as well. You know, I just think maybe the world should just bring those two together and say, okay, fist fight inside a ring, you know, like they do fighters, instead of putting, you know, millions of people in the middle, you know, and, you know, kind of like playing with people's lives. So I think, you know, for me, world peace, I think world peace and world unity, regardless of your color, religion, is the most important for us all, because if not, we will destroy ourselves. I think for individuals, just believing in yourself, no matter where you're from, what color you are, what your religion, your family dynamics, doesn't matter. If you believe in yourself and you work hard enough, there's always a way to succeed in anything you want to do. The funniest thing, I mean, no, it's not really funny, but it was interesting. I was probably within my first few weeks in Japan. I believe it was Shibuya. I was walking out of the station. There's like many people, me and my friend, and I saw this man on the ground. Like I saw, like I'm coming out of the train, people were just stepping over him and around him. Then I was like, I felt like I was in the, you know, the Twilight Zone. I just rushed to him, like, you know, I think like I'm not sure if I had to do CPR, but it was in my mind like, did I have to do it or something? But I knew CPR, and I was like, why isn't anyone trying to help this guy? So I rushed to him like trying to help, and then I realized that my buddy was like, just leave him, he's just drunk. I'm like, really? His bag is over there. I'm like, so everything is cool? I checked if he was breathing, and my friend's like, yeah. And that was pretty funny, because you know, that was a part of the culture, I guess. You know, you could have someone drunk on the ground, their phone is one side, their bag is one side, and then, you know, no one touches it, which is what I love about Japan. You know, it's a very safe place. Yeah, so that was pretty funny, because I was like, I felt strange after, like you know, I felt like, wow, I was gonna, you know, I have to save this man, whatever I would have done to save him. But then my friend told me, you know, he's just drunk. So it was pretty funny.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see weekly videos about the Black experience in Japan, feel free to subscribe to this channel. If you know someone that would like to be featured, or if you yourself would like to be featured, send us a message on our Facebook page at The Black Experience Japan, or send us a tweet on Twitter at TheBlackXJP. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.